Hello there. I'm asking some questions right now about AI note takers, and I'm going to start with the paid version of ChatGPT. What are the best AI note takers and organizers that do not require integration with a conference software? Um, so, one of the things that's kind of interesting is when you're thinking about transcription in your personal life, you can't necessarily in your business life take notes or record people because there's one party consent, there's rules, there's kinds of things. So I'm going to take a look at a bunch of choices that come with the ability not to necessarily uh, require a conference service. And Evernote is a one that probably all of us have used for a long time. I think my top ones are Notion.ai and Otter.ai. By the way, if you ask the same prompt of you.com, I just want to give that kind of tip as well. I'm using the paid version of these services. And if you ask this question of um, you.com is a aggregator of LLM. So they've got OpenAI and Lambda and a whole bunch of things. So, and you know, some Notion that comes kind of the highest of that list, but also Fireflies is there as well. If you haven't used it, Otter is probably one of my favorite tools to use. It is also the most expensive. It has a bunch of integrations that are pretty important depending on how you're using it. So, if you're using it for a sales team, it's got integration to sales.com. For business, it's got a bunch of pre-built integration. So, I think if you look at the apps and integration, that's the Otter AI kind of magic here. If you look at all of the apps and integration that they do. It's a bunch of them, and that's kind of cool. Obviously, remember that in some companies you can't use those integrations. Then I want to talk about Empower.ai. That's with Jeremiah Seraphin and a startup that was spun out of a company that I think is wonderful, and I spent some time working with. It's called Empower.ai. This is really focused at this point on really sort of Zoom and Teams and Google integration, Google Calendar, and it looks like they've also maybe got Slack there. Um, it's free currently, and it's a very smart way to see progress over time of meetings or of projects. Um, Merlin is kind of an interesting one because it's neither fish nor fowl. Merlin is one of those that sort of, if you're just working in Merlin, you just go start a new chat, and Merlin gives you a bunch of prompts and tools and bots and projects. It also, by the way, does some of the notebook organizational structure. Fireflies has probably been around longer than any of the products that I've used. I think I don't use it anymore because it's not necessarily as good as, for instance, Otter or Merlin. And then Notion, if you're trying to replace a notebook, if you're trying to replace like Evernote or something like that, that's really more what it is, what it does. It does have some integrations. I use Mac, so you do need a Mac version piece of that. There are a couple things that are nice around identity and provisioning. Um, so you can limit both where the data goes and who can get access to it. And there's some nice pieces on security here. I will remind you, though, that one of the coolest tools to use in ChatGTP is just the voice mode. So, uh, and we're going to turn on the microphone here and say, "Hey, ChatGPT, are you awake?"
Hey there! Yep, I'm wide awake and ready to chat. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm thinking of writing the great American novel, and I think it should be about George Jetson fighting maybe dinosaurs in flying cars, world peace or world cheese, or visualize world peas. Can you give me an outline for that?
That sounds like an amazing and wild concept. Here's a fun outline to kick off your great American novel. Title: Jetsonic Epoch. 1. Prologue: The Future Unveiled.
And I mean, the interesting thing here is that I find that talking to ChatGPT is sometimes a very cool way for me to do ideation. Remember, ideas that are in your head and are public data are probably cool for your company. If they're private data, that's probably not cool. So hopefully that was helpful and you know, enjoy. So